I want to be a philosopher when I grow up. The field of study that I'm pursuing is philosophy. In my presentation today, I will be talking about my field of discipline, which is philosophy. I will briefly show you the education requirements, including what I have had to do already and what is going to be coming in my future should I continue to pursue this discipline. I'll also be talking about what you can do with a philosophy degree and show you some people who, from the past and the present, who have philosophy degrees and who have made it work really, really well for them. We'll also be discussing salary. What can you expect to make with a degree such as this? And of course, something that might not seem so important, professional organizations can help you network, gain grants for studies, and help you get into better educational environments as well as excellent job placement. So what is philosophy anyway? Did you know that the word philosophy means love of wisdom or knowledge in Greek? The Oxford Dictionary of Philosophy defines philosophy as the study of the most general and abstract features of the world and categories with which we think: mind, matter, reason, proof, truth, etc. In philosophy, the concepts with which we approach the world themselves become the topic of inquiry.
Okay, so how does our presentation topic for this semester correspond with my area of study? Philosophy is always something that I thought I would pursue somehow. I was always one to think outside of the box, so far outside of the box that I figured I should just get credit for my thinking. So I decided to go to school. Philosophy comes into my area of study because what I am truly interested in is the specialty of aesthetics of literature. As an audiobook narrator and as a lover of books, this was the most natural path for me to take. Aesthetics is actually a field of philosophy. I've already gotten my associate's degree through my community college. Currently, I am pursuing my bachelor's degree, after which I will continue on in either some major of literature or specialize in the aesthetics of literature, which is directly related to the field of study I'm working in right now.
Community college is a great start. It's where I began. Most community colleges have some sort of philosophy program. Some may have transfer associates, some may have full associate's degrees. In community college, you are likely to have classes in logic, comparative religion, philosophy 101, and ethics. It is usually square one for many college students, regardless of age, because it is likely the most affordable option. And you can probably find one in your neck of the woods.
Undergraduate studies, such as what I have left to do at APU, are like community colleges and associate's degrees, pretty similar across the board. The requirements for the bachelor's degree look something like this. These are my core requirements. I already did Philosophy 101 in my community college. I still have research, analysis, and writing left to do, as well as logic, ethical theory and concepts, ancient Western philosophy, medieval philosophy, contemporary issues in philosophy, Enlightenment philosophy, modern and postmodern philosophy. But that's not all, folks. For an extra $9.99, you get your concentration requirements, which look a lot like these. If you're like me, or if you are me, you get to have ethics in criminal justice, management ethics, readings in military philosophy, moral issues in healthcare, studies in Chinese thought and in Japanese thought, environmental ethics, God and world, religious existentialism, introduction to critical thinking for decision-making, and epistemology. And finally, I get 498, which I am told to take at the end of my degree, is the senior seminar in philosophy. What do your program requirements look like? Do they look anything like mine? Do we have similar classes? I'm interested in learning about your class requirements. I have no idea what is to await me in graduate studies, so let's look at them together to see what might be in store for me.
When it comes to dreams, my dream is to go to Penn State. They have one of the best philosophy programs in the country, and they do provide education in aesthetics. If that doesn't pan out, perhaps I'll head on over to Copenhagen. Now that one is one of the best in the world. For Penn State, to get your master's degree for philosophy, you need a minimum of 30 credits. 18 of these must be philosophy related, and 12 of those must be within the 500-600 range. You will also need to create a scholarly paper, part of which will be from your candidacy portfolio. It must be accepted by the committee and program head, and you must also complete and pass the candidacy exam. For the PhD at Penn State, it is required that you get 30 credits in residence, 18 of which must be philosophy related at the 500 level. 9 of the credits need to be in the 600 level of philosophy related courses. To quote from their site directly, candidates typically take 50 credits of coursework and 36 research credits. At the program's discretion, candidates may take up to 15 non-philosophy credits toward a doctoral minor. The foreign language exam can be passed by the department translation exam in 2 languages other than English, or you can pass 1 language exam and pass the Philosophy 512 Logic course. For the dissertation, it must be accepted by the doctoral committee, the head of graduate program, and the graduate school. There is a growing demand for philosophy grads. Per the American Philosophical Association, the number of all graduates in full-time and part-time work 6 months after graduation rose by 9% between 2002 and 3 and 2005 and 6. For philosophy graduates in particular, it went up by 13%. So, just who studies this stuff anyway? Did you know that Thomas Jefferson, Patrick Buchanan, and Rudy Giuliani all have bachelor's degrees in philosophy? People in the realm of government and politics often study philosophy. Religious leaders and famous activists, such as Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and Pope John Paul II, all have studied and have degrees in philosophy. Noam Chomsky, a well-known philosopher still alive today, is someone whom I have studied in my philosophy classes. Not only does he still teach, but he also extensively studied philosophy and became highly respected in this field. Philosophy is a common course of study for people in business, writing, journalism, and the arts. You may recognize some of these names that I have listed, such as Mary Higgins Clark, T.S. Eliot, Stone Phillips, Gene Siskel. Now, how many out there have heard of Steve Martin or Richard Gere? What about Lana Del Rey? I'm sure several of us have heard about Bruce Lee, right? Yeah, these two have studied philosophy and have degrees in this field.
Why am I pursuing philosophy? I got really interested in philosophy a long time ago. And while the reasons are very personal, my now ex was very possessive and did not allow me out of the home to see friends or family. One of the things that I did have, however, were books. I was just so hungry for knowledge, and I don't know exactly what clicked, but something did. And I know that I was reading a lot of philosophy just because it interested me. Through my own personal studies, that it was something that helped my mind make that switch over and helped me to get out of the situation that I was in. I never had the opportunity to go to college after high school. And when I finally was able to do so after I escaped my situation and moved to Gettysburg, it was something that allowed me to save my own life. It flipped the switch.
According to payscale.com, in their college salary report, philosophy majors with a bachelor's degree have an early career pay of $44,700. Mid-career, they are expected to make $84,100. And 39% of philosophy alumni believe that the work that they do makes the world a better place. Philosophy, like other trades and career paths, we have associations and organizations domestically and internationally. For instance, the American Philosophical Association, the American Philosophical Society, the American Society for Aesthetics, and the International Association for Philosophy and Literature. Benefits from organizations like these include job placement services, paper submissions for divisional programs, grants, discounts on books, journals, periodicals, and databases. It also provides savings on things such as hotels and rental vehicles for conventions and meetings. An organization such as the American Philosophical Association and many others provides newsletters in different disciplines of philosophy, information about fellowships, guides to graduate programs, and the opportunity to meet with and converse with people in the same discipline. It's a great way to network and meet others and share ideas, and to further your knowledge and education not just in school, but in the real world.
Thank you so much for joining me in my presentation. I hope you found it useful and I hope you found the information helpful. Whether or not you decide to take philosophy up as your major, as your career choice, it's one of these things that seems that it would be useless, but the understanding that it is part of everything, part of your science, law, medicine, business, education, is an invaluable thing. And it is a necessary tool in everything we do. If you have any questions, please leave them in the form below. I'll talk to y'all very soon. Thanks again, everybody. Bye.
And now, my final thoughts. I love creating presentations as projects for my college classes. It allows me to share my creativity. The presentations also give me a visual outlet to teach you, my fellow students and professor, the knowledge I have obtained while going through this philosophy path that I have chosen for myself. In the future, however, I will not be likely to use the mind mapping bubbles. I did want to give them another shot, but my brain still enjoys lists too much. I loved being able to combine video, audio, images, and my editing skills to make, research, and execute my presentation project.